Hi, ladies. I'm glad to be with you again talking about the power of a praying wife. And this week we're discussing chapters 4 and 5. So if you have already had a chance to read them, then you know that this might be an interesting discussion. And it's especially interesting and even a little bit awkward for me because my parents sometimes watch these videos. So here we go. Chapter 4 is his sexuality, which feels like a really big topic for our little videos. But if we are talking about it, hopefully that means that we are praying about it. And that is the point of all of this, right? So there's a lot of things that we could probably discuss with this, but we're just going to hit on a few points. And the first one I think is probably foundational to all of this. And it is that physical intimacy is to a man what emotional intimacy is to a woman. Can you imagine if your husband just kind of talked to you when he felt like it or listened to you when it was convenient? You know, we would immediately accuse him of being unloving and detached. And Hallie Bridgman, who's a Christian author, put it like this: I don't know that we as women give the differences in men and women's brains and thinking enough credit. We feel and we feel deeply. When your husband writes you a love letter, it fills your heart to overflowing, and it can make you fall in love with him all over again. She goes on to say this: and whether you can understand his brain or not, physical intimacy with you, his wife, will give him the exact same feelings of love within his heart that a beautiful, flowing love letter will for you. This is his connection to you. And I feel like that if we could just see it through that filter, through those lenses, then we would really understand better how important this is to our husbands, and it would help us make it more of a priority. You know, another part of this is the fact that physical intimacy is something that is completely unique to the relationship between you and your husband. If that's not something that we are experiencing in our marriages, then how is our relationship with our husband any different from any other relationship that we have? You know, and I always want us to remember too that this is something that God designed for our marriages. It was important to him. So don't ever feel silly about praying about something like this. Chapter 5 was titled His Affection, which again, this is one of those things that's like you probably wouldn't have thought to pray about. But the Bible talks about it. Romans 12:10 says, love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. So the context of this scripture is just talking about general relationships. But how much more do you think we should apply it to our marriages? And you know, the Bible could have just said, love each other. And we really would have gotten the point. But it took it a step further to say, with genuine affection. You know, and if you read the chapter, you remember Stormy shared with us a story, and she made the point that we don't ever have to feel guilty for wanting affection in our marriages. The Lord designed it that way. And again, scripture talks about it too. So if you feel like this is something that is lacking in your marriage, again, don't feel silly about praying about this. It's okay. As I was kind of studying more for this discussion, I found a blog that was talking about this, and she mentioned the book, The 5 Love Languages, which you've probably heard of. It's by Gary Chapman. And what it talks about is how each of us communicate our love. And he names 5 different ways. We've got words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And I bet even as I was reading those to you, maybe something resonated with you. If you haven't taken the quiz, I completely recommend that you do that. And I think you can even find it online. So I will tell you, for me, my husband is actually an incredible gift giver. He's very thoughtful in every gift that he gives. But if I see him with a mop or cleaning our showers, that screams, I love you, because that's what's important to me. It's acts of service is how I receive love. Now, for my husband, his primary language is physical touch, which you're probably like, okay, well, that's every guy's love language. Well, it's not like that. The point is that when we're showing this genuine affection, We need to show it in the language that they understand and that they will really receive from. And maybe you're like, well, I'm not comfortable doing, physical touch, or, I don't know how to give words of affirmation. And you know what? That's okay. Because if God called us to do this, He's going to equip us to do it. And that's, again, where your prayers come in. And it's something that you pray and then you practice. If you think about learning a new language, you only get better the more that you practice it, right? And before you know it, you're going to be bilingual, even more so than Dora. So one last point that I want to make is I remember when my husband and I were first married that he pointed out to me his cousin Ben and his wife Susan, and they'd probably been married at least 10 years at that point. And he was like, look how they still hold hands. And like you would see them off in a corner just like talking and laughing with each other. He's like, that's what I want for me and you. And I want to encourage all of us that, you know what? Affection isn't just for newlyweds. Like, this is something that we should experience in our marriages always. And we don't have to leave it up to our husbands. We can reach for his hand too. So I just want to encourage you to not be afraid to be the initiator in that. So, okay, now it's your turn. I know this might feel a little bit awkward, but just share what you feel comfortable sharing. I really want to hear from you. I am loving reading your comments and learning from your insights. It's helping me. So I hope to hear from you all. And next week we will talk about chapters 6 and 7. Have a wonderful week. God bless you.